Good afternoon. I hope I am visible and audible to everybody. Give me a hi, drop me a hi so that I know you guys are there. Okay, so I welcome you to this session, right? So we've been having a lot of CMAT VARC sessions lately, CMAT language comprehension sessions lately. The idea is that you should go absolutely prepared when it comes to RC passages, vocabulary, grammar, even verbal reasoning. So that is why we have planned a lot of sessions on these topics for you. Okay, so today's session, good afternoon, Ria. Good afternoon, Soumya. Happy Holi. Happy Holi to all of you. Hello, Anush. Right. So, today's session, it is about how you can maximize your score in CMAT language comprehension section. Okay. So, I have just told you about the topics. But what about strategy? How should I go about attempting the paper? How should I go about attempting the language comprehension section in particular? That is what we are going to discuss today. Okay. Hi, Anandu. Hi, Shiba. All right. So let's begin. The target is, of course, your target should be 20 on 20 questions. Okay. That does not mean that you have to mark something or the other in every question. No, that's not what we mean by the title. There is negative marking, so you have to be conscious about that as well. But yes, our aim should be to maximize our accurate attempts. Right? Let's see how we can do that. Now, this is something that you have to do immediately if you haven't done it. See, although my belief, my assumption is that you should have taken at least one CMAT mock test by now, or at least a CMAT language comprehension sectional you should have taken, right? If not, then do it today itself. Okay, don't wait for Holi to get over. Do it today itself if you haven't done it, because that is what is going to give you an idea about your strategy. Next thing is that we should always be aware about the framework in which we are operating. So yesterday only, in yesterday's session, I told you about these things that, okay, you have 20 questions, you get 4 marks per correct question. There is -1 for any incorrect question. So you should know about these things, right? Marking scheme. What are the question types that you are asked? I just talked to you about it. RC passages, vocabulary, grammar, right? Sometimes even parajumbles, sometimes questions such as fact inference judgments. So again, you should be aware about this as well. Lastly, time constraint per question. So I think you are smart enough to arrive at the time constraint per question. Also, as per our discussion, I told you that for the language comprehension section, for this section, you will not need more than 30 minutes. That's my belief. Okay. If past year trends are something to go by, then for 20 questions, I don't think you will need more than 30 minutes. Okay, 30 to 35 at the most, not more than that is needed. All right. Okay. So coming to step one. So I'll give you a step-by-step approach today as to how to increase your score in the language comprehension section. We will also look at some questions along the way. Okay. So your very first step is to decide what is going to be your order of sections. Will language comprehension section be your first section, second section? You have to first decide that. And how can you do that? Devote, I think in 2 mocks itself you get to know this. Okay, that okay, this section is my strength, this is working for me, this is not working for me, so let me keep it at one, let me keep it at the second place. So you can devote 2 mocks to arriving at this strategy, this order of sections. Of course, it will be impacted by your strengths or weaknesses. I think you might have taken, I'm assuming that you must have taken some other entrance exams also. So by now you know whether quant is your strength, whether LRDI is your strength, right? After taking CAT and other exams. So this order will definitely be impacted by your strengths and weaknesses. And it will in turn also help you identify these 2 marks that you devote to it. They'll help you identify, okay, I thought that I wasn't as good when it comes to logical reasoning, but that's not true. I am faring fine when it comes to it, so probably I should not keep it at the very end. So these things you'll get to know only when you take mocks. There is no cookie cutter solution here that I tell you, okay, LC should be your language comprehension, should be your first section, or it should be your last section. For everybody, this is going to differ. Okay. All right. Good afternoon to all of you who have joined us later. I have some queries in the chat box. Please suggest me how to prepare best for this new added paper, Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Okay, we've been conducting extensive sessions on this. Pranav sir and Srinivas sir both have been taking sessions on innovation and entrepreneurship. Please do attend those sessions. There they talk about all of these things. They suggest you sources also for this. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this section if you attend those sessions. All right. Okay. Scoring 73 right now. Oh, that's amazing, Kripa. 73 on 80. I'm assuming this is on 80. This is a great score. Okay. All right. So this is your step 1. What is step 2? Step 2 is you then decide the order of your questions. So my order goes like this. This is how I go about attempting any paper that has vocabulary, that has grammar. So my preference is always to attempt vocabulary and grammar questions first. And I think those who have been attending my sessions know the reasons behind it. Yes. So go for vocabulary and grammar first, then go for any logic based questions like parajumbles, FIJs, fact inference judgment, any paragraph based single questions. For instance, one paragraph is given to you, then its main idea is asked. One paragraph is given to you, then you are asked to strengthen that argument. So if such questions come, you should attempt these next. And at the end, I go to RC passages. So this order can differ for you. For instance, there are some students who say we can't read RCs at a stretch. We get bored, we get tired. In such a case, of course, you can hop a bit. One RC passage, then some, let's say, parajumbles. One RC passage, then some vocabulary questions. You can do that. Okay, I'm just talking to you about deciding on an order. And in my opinion, going for VA first helps because these are short questions to begin with. So they require less concentration in the beginning. They are time saving. They boost your confidence. Things that I have told you already. Okay. All right. Then, how to prepare for GK, general awareness. See, again, as I've told you, we are having separate sessions for these areas. Why don't you check them out? Okay. So don't worry. So basically, there are in the last lab to CMAT, there are dedicated sessions for each and every section. So just look at the schedule, okay, and attend the sessions accordingly. And I'm sure you'll get all these answers. Okay. All right, 73 on 100 also is a good score, Kripa. Okay, it's a good score. That means you can consider English as one of your strengths. Okay, so it should be in your priority while deciding your order of sections. Okay. Now that you've decided the order of sections, the order of questions, what is the next step? We will look at it, but let's attempt a couple of questions in between. Okay. All right, so this is a word meaning question here. What do you understand by fratricide? Yes, tell me. Fratricide. Let's see what you say. Waiting for your responses. Okay. 60 on 80 is also a good score, Anush. It's a good score. Okay, what A and D so far? Murder of a fetus and murder of brother. Is murder of a fetus fratricide? I remember reading something else. It's feticide. Feticide. Fetus, from fetus we have feticide. Okay, side means to kill, killing. Infanticide is killing an infant after the baby has been born. That is infanticide. Suicide, killing of self. Su means self. Right. Homicide, killing of Homo sapiens, killing of human beings. That is homicide. Genocide, killing of an entire race. Okay, genus here, basically people of the same birth, people of the same race, etc. That is called genocide. So, side means killing. Now, fratricide refers to killing of one's brother. Fratry here refers to brother. Remember, we have fraternity. We have this word fraternity, a feeling of fraternity among the citizens of a country. So, fraternity is nothing but brotherhood. Brotherhood, right? Earlier, in colleges, because society was more conservative back then, the college societies used to be segregated according to the gender. So we used to have fraternities. If you've heard of frat parties, right? You might have seen this in some American show or the other, frat parties. So fraternity was the society where all the boys could join. Sorority was the party where all the girls could join. Okay, so sorority refers to basically this soror here, this refers to sister, whereas fratry refers to brother, right? So what would be the killing of one's sister called? Yes, killing of one's sister. Tell me. Good, Sheba, correct answers. Just saw them. Killing of one's sister is called sororicide. Okay, sororicide. That's the word. So, in fact, you would be surprised. There are words for killing of one's family members. So, matricide, patricide, matri, mother, patri, father, fratricide, brother, sororicide, sister. There are a lot more. Nepoticide is for nephew. Okay. If you were fond of Game of Thrones, then there is this scene in that show wherein they are Jamie and this other guy, his brother, they are talking about how there are various words for killing of one's family members, right? So there they talk about nepoticide. Okay, for killing of a king, the word is regicide. Regicide. Okay, so they are wondering that there is no one particular word for killing of one's cousin. There is no one dedicated word for killing of one's cousin. Okay, for killing of one's relative, the general word is meriticide. Meriticide. No, wait, meritus. Sorry, that is no, not meriticide. Sorry, parricide. Okay, parricide is the word. Parricide with a double R. Okay, this is for killing of one's relatives. It's a general umbrella word. Okay, and meriticide is for killing of, who will tell me? Meriticide is for killing of one's husband. Okay, so killing of one's husband, that's meriticide. Killing of one's wife is uxoricide. Okay, so wife is uxoricide, husband is meriticide, relatives in general is parricide. So many words. In fact, there is a word for killing of children also. It's called filicide. Filicide. Okay. So yes, the idea is not to let's say discuss this in detail. The idea is that okay, etymology helps you, because I know that side refers to killing, because I know some of these roots here. Okay, sui means self, homi comes from Homo sapiens, right? Then fratry stands for brother, matri for mother, patri for father. It's easy for me to actually remember these, and also when I first read them to have inferred it, right? So the answer here is D, Delhi, murder of brother. Okay. Hope this is clear to everybody. So, and oneself is suicide, father is patricide, this is feticide. Okay, D, Delhi is our answer. So this is a previous year question. Now, coming to the next one. Good, good. Those who have answered, Vanya, Pranjal, Shiba, uxoricide, absolutely correct. Sweetie, regicide, answer absolutely correct. Parricide, Shiba, very good. So, Good responses here. Let's come to the next question. This is an error spotting question, a grammar question. So you have to tell me which part has an error. Yes. Welcome, Abhishek. If she will be promoted, she'll get a higher salary. Seems right to me actually. Rahul says A. Yes, this is again an actual question. So my effort is to bring a mix of questions. Some of them will be actual questions, actual past year questions. Some will be those that I have created. Okay. On the lines of the past year questions themselves. Okay. So A. All of you are saying A. So why? But my question is why? See, if let's say, although I shouldn't do that, but if I translate it to Hindi, I'm trying to say अगर उसका promotion होगा फ्यूचर में तो उसको हायर सैलरी मिलेगी सो इफ अगर उसका प्रमोशन अभी हुआ ही नहीं है वो होगा देन दिस इज फाइन इफ शी विल बी प्रमोटेड व्हाई डू आई हैव टू राइट इफ शी गेट्स प्रमोटेड यस दैट्स माय क्वेश्चन टू विल कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड इज इट so what if I say I will bring some vegetables from the market and I will also get the geyser repaired. Okay, just some household tasks that are on my mind. See, I have used two will together. You are saying I can't do that in a sentence. We can do that. Okay, it depends on the context. What is the context here? All of you, those who are saying, yeah, you are absolutely right. And yes, this is how we should write it. So see, this is where there are instances where Hindi differs from English. They are two separate languages, right? So in English, the rule is that if I'm talking about a condition, if I'm talking about something that is conditional in nature, then with the condition, even though this is a future thing that I'm talking about, with the condition clause, I use the present tense and not the future tense. For instance, let's say you are going somewhere using metro, right? So you tell your mom, I will call you when I reach the station, or when I reach the station, I will call you. So your calling her is conditional on your reaching the station, no? That is why you say when I reach the station, I will call you. You should not say when I will reach the station, I will call you. Because again, this is a condition. Conditionals are not just, they don't just begin from if, they can begin from when also. Right? So this is the thing to remember. When we have something that is dependent on the other, then with the condition clause, we use the present simple tense. Okay. And therefore A is our answer. If she gets promoted is the correct part. Good, Pranjal and Vanya. Good, you've given me the correct reason. All right. Now, so back to our steps. Step 3 is definitely that if you get multiple passages, you should prioritize them. Okay. I am not saying that you spend 15 minutes in deciding which passage to attempt. Okay, no. I am just saying that why don't you read the opening sentence of each paragraph of a passage? Let's say it has 3 paragraphs. That means I'm just asking you to read 3 sentences of every passage out there. Right, let's say you get 3 passages this time. So 3 sentences of these 3 passages and accordingly decide, okay, this is rank 1, this is rank 2, this is rank 3. This process is hardly going to take you a minute or two. Okay. So please prioritize your passages because you see your temperament matters a lot in the exam. If right in the beginning you encounter a difficult passage, no, it just spoils your mood. Okay, it'll make you spend a lot of time on the passage. You'll get stuck at questions, right? And you'll waste a lot of time. So we don't want that. That's why prioritize your passages. Something that I talked about yesterday also in the last lab session on RC passages, and we did 2 passages there. I hope you remember. Also, yes, my criteria for deciding which passage I'll attempt is based on my interest. what I like, what I dislike, based on how familiar I am with the subject. So, for instance, I may not like history, but I may have read some books on history, so I am familiar with the topic, right? So, if a history passage comes that talks about something that I'm aware about, I might just end up attempting it. And the difficulty level of the language, right? How dense the language is. Does it look like something very academic? So, in that case, that will not be my first choice. Okay, I would rather want to attempt something that has a newspaper style language, that has a simple language meant for the masses. Okay, so based on these, I decide my passages, I give them a rank, and then I start attempting. You could, so some students, instead of giving them ranks, they give them marks. Okay, out of 10, this one gets 4 only. This appears to be a difficult passage. Okay, I'll attempt it towards the end. So rank it, give it marks. The whole idea is that you should prioritize. Okay. All right. Now, coming to an RC passage, because I mentioned RC passage, here is one. This is a previous year passage, and see this. It's just one single paragraph. It actually came in the exam. This is followed by 3 questions. So, let's see, because yesterday I felt that you do need to be exposed to more RC passages. So, that's why one here today. Very short. Start with it. Let me know once you complete. Yes. Easy. So, I think by now you should have completed this. Let me know once you do. Good. So let us move to the questions now. Question 1. The timer is on. Okay. Let's see what you say. 1 minute. Indirect questions. This is a in such questions, it always pays to just cross check whatever you decide. Okay, so who can change the decision of a country to make use of provisions available to developing countries? Now a lot of you are saying D, the preference giving country. Let's see if that is the case. So I am going to verify this and see this. Members announce for themselves whether they are developed or developing countries. However, other members can challenge the decision of a member to make use of provisions available to developing countries. Other members can challenge. So that means the answer should not be the preference giving country. The answer should be any member country of WTO. Okay, so other members can decide. No, other members means any other member. So any neighboring country, the WTO, go out. This is too narrow to be the answer. It's not just the preference giving country that can challenge. The preference giving country just decides, okay, fine, it has called it developing. Will I give it some privileges that I give to developing countries or not? That is what the preference giving country decides. Not that it can, it solely can. So solely the preference giving country can't do that. Any member country can actually challenge this decision. Right? So the ideal word here should have been challenge and not change. This is perhaps a typo. It should be challenge. I hope this makes sense to everybody that the answer is B here and not D, Delhi. You can refer to these sentences. Yes? Okay. I am assuming that's a yes. Question 2. 1 minute. I'll explain one again. Don't worry. Okay. So, very happy to see that a lot of you have marked D. D is indeed the answer. Okay, the country itself. Now, let's see why D is the answer. I understand your concern that the preference giving country has been stressed upon in the passage. But see this. The opening line says that WTO does not have any definitions that whether this country is developed and developing. Then who actually names a country developing and who says that it is developed? First, the members themselves announce it. The members, so the country itself will announce whether I am a developing country or whether I am a developed country. So the country itself first makes this announcement. Now, other members are free to challenge this. They are free to challenge this. Initial decision is of the country itself. Other members can challenge this decision. And what can a preference giving country do? Okay, so let's say tomorrow the let's take the example of India only. So let's say India says that okay, I am a developing country. But let's say a country that is a preference giving country, so let's say the US, does not feel that India is a developing country. Okay, so the US is free to challenge this status also, and the US is free to decide this that okay, am I going to give it those preferences that I give to those countries that I consider developing or not. The US has these two freedoms. One is to challenge India's status as a developing country, and second is to decide okay, am I going to give it the benefits that I give to various developing countries or not. So here also towards the end, if you see, we are saying that a WTO member announces itself as a developing country does not automatically mean that it will benefit from the unilateral preference schemes of some of the developed country members, such as the generalized system of preferences. In practice, it is the preference giving country which decides the list of developing countries. Actually, if let's say, if I am being very honest with you, this is an incomplete sentence. Okay, the meaning, the import of this sentence is that in practice, the preference giving country for itself makes a list. Okay, for me, these are the developing countries. These are the countries that I am going to give benefits to. This is the import of this statement. So, ideally, this sentence should have been it is the preference giving country which decides the list of developing countries that it is going to give benefits to. Okay, so however, this is what is written and it has been associated with the previous sentences. So, from the context, it is me only who has to infer that okay, this is what is meant by the last sentence. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you now that any member of WTO, any member country of WTO can challenge this decision and not just the preference giving country. Second is initial decision is with the country itself. The country itself says, okay, I am developed, I am developing. Okay, so good. See, two, most of you got correct. So I can say that it was an easy question for you. Now, let's come to the third question. Let's see what you say. Why would a country like to announce itself as a developing country? Very easy. Let's see what you say. Waiting for your responses. Okay, I've got some responses. Others, what has happened? Come on. The last question for this RC passage. So, those who've responded, um, I think Kushi says A. Yes, Dipali A, Shiba A, Vanya A. Absolutely correct. A is the answer. Now, two of you have said D and one of you said C. Let's look at C and D as well. No. The reason is stated. This is a direct question. So I don't have to really do anything. I just have to go back. See, developing country. So basically members announce themselves and other members can challenge. Developing country status in the WTO brings certain rights. There are, for example, provisions in some WTO agreements which provide developing countries with longer transaction periods before they are required to fully implement the agreement, and developing countries can receive technical assistance. So these are the benefits, no, that anybody would be after. That is why they would declare themselves a developing country, no. So that's why it cannot be C, that it can become a member. It's a member country only that is announcing itself as a developing country. So C does not make sense at all. D, so that it can become the preference. That is why it would call itself a developing country. The preference giving countries are usually developed countries. That's what my passage says. Okay, so D cannot be the answer. A is the answer. I hope this is clear to everybody. So, see, in my opinion, when I attempted this, I found two of the three questions to be easy, right? So, a short paragraph with 2 on 3 questions to be easy, I would, and plus the language was also easy for me. WTO international affairs is again something that I am familiar with. So, I would keep it high in my priority list. Okay. All right, then let's proceed. Now that let's say you have prioritized your passages, ranked them, now you start attempting an RC passage, right? So choosing and attempting the questions is also an art. Okay. First, attempt easy questions of all the passages. And this is not just true for passages, even for your VA. First, go for all the easy questions. Don't be stuck there as well. Although, I don't think you will get stuck in such short questions. Either you know them or you don't know them. But in VA also, first, VA means your vocabulary, grammar, etc. First, attempt all the easy questions. Always, right? Then I go for the main idea question at the end of a particular passage. So let's say passage 1 had 5 questions. Then I would attempt the main idea question towards the end after attempting the other 4 questions. Because in answering those 4 questions, I revisit various sections. So I get a deeper insight into what the passage is about. So that works for me. A tip that I would like to give you. Always eliminate. Okay, so I see this happening here because you think that questions are direct. You look at an option and you see this is the answer, you immediately type that option. Don't do that. First, eliminate. When you are sure that okay, others are not the answer, that means okay, this one is. Right? And lastly, something that I've been telling you for a long time, don't get stuck on questions. That's the worst thing that you can do in an entrance exam. Okay, if you know it, good, mark. If you don't know it, okay, spend some time in RC passages, let's say after 40 seconds also, if you've not even been able to narrow down to 2 options, that means probably this is a difficult question for you. Please proceed for now. Okay, hope this makes sense. CMAT level RC is from where can you practice? So Nidhi, there are certain books that are available in the market, but I think you have enough material in your past year papers, in your mocks, okay, plus your non-CAT exam past year paper. So MAT CET has a similar level. Then your exam SNAP passages, they are of a similar level. So these can actually work for you. If you absolutely want to purchase a book, then Wiley has a book that prepares you for CMAT, MAT, such exams. Then you can consider buying it. Okay. First, I would say attempt these. Okay. 5 minutes is enough for this passage. This passage, yes, less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes is actually a lot for this passage. So I think in under 5 minutes you'll be able to do it. Okay. So my calculation is usually very simple. Although there is no, again, no one size fits all solution for this. Um, if there are three questions, I multiply it by 1.5 and I see, okay, I should take 4.5 minutes in reading and attempting this passage. So less than 5 minutes. This is my rough calculation. It's based on the time that CAT allows you and all of those things, right? And should be enough for this passage. Okay. Another thing is that, think like the examiner. So, any examiner, when she frames questions, when she frames options, so two options she'll always make to be a little close, right? So that there is some challenge for the student. The other two options will be those that you can easily eliminate. Between these two close options also, how can you eliminate? Think about that. Okay, so this is the trap actually. So first the easy ones, if there are two options, as I said, two of them, let's say, can be closed, but there will be easy ones also, no? They will be those that are false as per the passage or not mentioned at all in the passage. So if you read the passage carefully, that will be easy for you to spot. Then there are trap options, the ones that make for close options. So it will go slightly beyond the passage. It will not be it will not say something that is alien, but it will go slightly beyond. It will distort. If the passage says X leads to Y, it will say Y leads to X. It will be incomplete. Okay, so yes, it will address the question, but only partially. पूरा आंसर नहीं कर रहा question को. Then it will be, let's say, a statement that will be true as per the passage. Let's say I pick up a sentence from the passage and put it as an option, but then it is not really answering the question that has been asked. So these are the insidious trap options that make for close options, and you should know how to eliminate them, right? So your correct answer is the one that is closest to the passage or true as per the passage. Always remember this, right? So because a major portion of your paper is going to be RC passages, that's why I am focusing on this, right? So I'm expecting 50 to 60% of your paper to be from RC passages of the language comprehension section, right? How many past year papers, Dipali? I think they are available only from 2017 in the public domain. I have seen papers from CMAT 2017 to 2021. So those are the ones that you can practice, right? Okay, so if you've been liking the session so far, I think our team has also insisted this. Please go and press the like button, okay? And yes, in case you have any queries later on also, I'm always available. Just drop a comment in the comment section, right? Do share it with your friends who are preparing for CMAT. I think it will be a big help now that the exam is near. And if you want to never get confused about when my next session is or when any next session on CMAT is, then subscribe to the channel. Press the bell icon. That's how you'll get notifications. Okay. All right. So here's a grammar question for you. Let's see what you say. Select the grammatically correct sentence from the following statements. Let's see what you say. Okay, I've got one response. Okay, 3. All right. All right. Okay. So everybody is saying B? Absolutely correct. Okay. When I say although, I have already drawn a contrast. I don't need a but there. See both although and but are conjunctions. Both are used for contrast. So if I have put an although here, or if I have put a though here, though although work in the same fashion, I don't need a but. This is redundancy, right? So these two options could be very easily eliminated. Now, what's the difference between these two? That, right? Why do I need that here? I'm just saying, although he had failed in maths, he received a degree in engineering. That he received a degree in engineering should be preceded by something. He was so intelligent, he was so hardworking that he received a degree in engineering. So something needs to precede this, that. So this is redundant again, and B is my answer. Okay, so this was an out and out conjunction questions, a conjunction question. And as I always tell you, in such questions where the same sentence is repeated, always spot the errors, basically the differences, not the errors. You won't know whether they're erroneous or not. Spot the differences. So here, for instance, I saw, okay, but in two of these, that here, but not here. Go for a vertical scan. Instead of horizontally reading each and every option, this saves your time, this vertical scan. So vertical scan, spot the differences, and then eliminate. This should be your approach. Right? Okay. All right, all right. Good. Correct, Shiba. Uh, Absolutely correct. Correct, correct, correct. Okay. Let's see this antonym question now. Choose the word that is farthest in meaning to the given word, survive. Let's see. So we are now on Instagram, right? We have become hip and happening. You can join us on our Insta handle. We conduct these sessions. They're called Ask Me Anything at intervals. So that's helpful for students. Let's see what you say. All right. C is what I've got. Farthest in meaning. Satyam says A, Ishwar says D. Others. That's it. Two responses. Where's your energy? Okay, B. All right. There is negative marking in the exam, not here. Here you are free to just answer. All right, B. A lot of you say B. Okay. So see this, servile. Who is a servile person? I think you can relate it to serve. You can relate it to servant. So a servile person would be a very compliant, obedient person who will agree to what you say. Okay, will be very submissive. That person is a servile person. You have to choose the word that is farthest in meaning. Now, helpful. I understand that it is not something that is a synonym of servile, but servile people, because they are submissive, if you ask them for help, probably they'll help you, right? So this is not the farthest in meaning, considering that we have other options like A and D. Humorous. I again understand that it is not directly related, but given that we have A and D, which are negative words, so imperious, conspiratorial, these are negative ideas. Humorous again is not the farthest. Now, conspiratorial, somebody who, let's say, if I say that this event is conspiratorial, that means it's in the nature of a conspiracy, right? So, if I talk about some, let's say, some incident that happened about behind which some reasons are not clear, I can say that, okay, this entire thing appears very conspiratorial to me, right? People can also be conspiratorial if they are part of, if they are, like to be a part of conspiracies. So, conspiratorial related to a conspiracy, in the nature of a conspiracy, could be the answer. However, I have a better choice in A. A is the answer here. Imperious. Good. Kajal, Radha, good. A is the answer. Now, why? Why is A the answer? Why is it farthest? Because an imperious person is a dominating person. This person is a dominating person. Imperial, it comes from imperial, empire. The idea of empire was to dominate, right? Imperial tendencies are these dominating tendencies. So imperious is dominating, and that's why this is very far away. It is the antonym of survive. That's why A will be our answer. Humorous, helpful, conspiratorial, they're not as far as the exact antonym. I hope this is clear to you. A is the answer. Imperious, somebody who's very dominating. All right. Hope this is clear. Imperious curse. If you remember Harry Potter, there is a curse there, imperious curse. The spelling is this, imperious. So why is the imperious curse inflicted on someone? To dominate over them. You dominate over their psyche, their mind, their body, everything. Right? So you can relate it to the imperious curse. All right then. Let's have a look at this. Fill in the blank now. So there is this whole context around it. At 11, he had a horror of death. He was scared of death. Within 6 impressionable years, his parents had died and his grandmother had faded off, almost dashed. Until, for the first time since her marriage, her person held for one day an unquestioned supremacy over her own drawing room. Okay, so A, imperceptibly, B, suddenly, C, tragically, D, violently, E, none. What should be the answer? Let's see what you say. Okay, got one response. B, okay, C, B. So these are slightly more challenging questions. I understand that. The options could also appear close to you. Okay. And his grandmother had faded off almost dash until, for the first time since her marriage, her person held for one day an unquestioned supremacy. So she was not the kind of person who commanded supremacy, let's say, right? His grandmother, within a span of 6 years, had faded off. When someone fades off, when we use this expression, fade off, okay, this happens over a period of time gradually, right? So, faded off almost tragically is not the answer. Good. Those who have marked A, those who have said A, Dipali, Khushi, Tejasvi, always cool. Absolutely correct. A is the answer, imperceptibly. So fading off is something, it happens gradually over a period of years such that you don't sense it, but one day you realize, okay, the thing is no longer. If I talk about things, that the thing no longer can be used. Happens with our clothes also, right? So almost imperceptibly, in a way that you couldn't even sense, unless one day she actually commanded unquestioned supremacy over her own drawing room, right? So A is the answer here. And you know what I inferred from this paragraph? I found this to be a very interesting paragraph. I think this is a metaphor for the fact that she also died, and now it was her picture, this picture that hung in the bed in the drawing room. That is why we are saying unless for the until for the first time since her marriage, her person held for one day an unquestioned supremacy over her own drawing room. Right? So probably we are talking about her picture. Quite possible, right? That we are talking about the fact that she died and one day all that remained was this domineering picture in the drawing room. Right? So A is the answer here. Imperceptibly, suddenly does not fit, violently also does not fit because I'm talking about something fading off. While I understand that this paragraph talks about death, imperceptibly is a better fit with fading off than tragically, right? Because almost tragically would mean that okay, it's near to being tragic, but it's not quite tragic. Whereas this entire thing that we are describing is indeed quite tragic. So almost tragically would unnecessarily dilute that sense, right? That's why A. Hope this is clear to everybody. What if we eliminate three options and are not sure of the remaining option? Okay. See, first of all, I have given you five options here, right? In the exam in CMAT, you get four options, right? Now, but we also have none as a choice. So one remaining option and none as a choice. If let's say you are able to decide with even 60-70% accuracy that okay, this works better than none, then you should mark this. If, however, you are just stuck, it's 50-50, right? And you are not able to be sure about it, then I suggest that you proceed. Don't mark it. Okay. अगर इसमें थोड़ा सा higher probability भी है, then take that risk, mark it. Don't do it for a lot of questions though. But usually you don't have all the questions with none as the option, right? So for whichever one you have a slightly higher probability, mark it. All right. And why am I asking you to take that risk? Because CMAT as an exam, it tends to be easier. That's why the attempts go higher. In a difficult exam like that, I would probably not give you this advice. Okay. All right. Now we come to the step 4. Okay. So this is the last step, right? So we've by looking at a mock or a sectional, not a sectional, take a mock. So by looking at a mock, we have decided the order of our sections, we have decided the order of our questions, we have prioritized passages, we have also learned how to attempt various questions, right? Now that we have attempted all of it, we've taken the mock. The last step is, of course, mock analysis. Very important because the framework of this exam is different from the other exams. So you should know what strategy is working for you, what is not working for you, which questions, which areas do you need to prepare for more. Let's say in quant, let's say in it could be something like general awareness also, right? So within 1 to 2 days of taking the mock, do take a mock analysis, do analyze your mock. Not later because you'll otherwise forget what your approach to various questions was. And usually it takes at least the amount of time that you took to take the mock. Okay, sometimes students say it took me twice the amount of time. That is also normal. What do you have to analyze? Whatever you got wrong, resolve it. Whatever you did not attempt, solve it. Okay. And wherever you took more time than necessary, whether you got it right or you got it wrong, see how you could have approached this question better. Star mark any new word that you learn, any new question type that you come across. By star marking, basically I mean that note it down somewhere or copy paste it somewhere. Always ask why. Okay, why did I get it wrong in the exam? Why did I take more time in this? Okay, why did I choose this question over that? Why did I got stuck here? Why did I get stuck here? So ask these questions. Why? That will help you to narrow down to the problem. And whatever then the problem is, whatever you learn from it, incorporate it in the next mock, in the next past year paper that you're going to attempt. Okay. I hope this helps. All right. Then any questions that you have? Anything that you wish to ask? No? All right. Then so this is it from my end. In the end, I want you to remember that what actually translates into a higher score. Preparation plus strategy in the context of the framework. That is what will translate to an increase in your VARC, or as we call it, language comprehension score. Right? So prepare well and also strategize, which is what today's session was more about. Right? So that will translate into an increase in your language comprehension score. Now, as I said, if you have any queries, you can ask me. I don't see anything in the chat box. Schedule for the next session. So 22nd March, I'll see you next on 22nd March and 23rd March. 22nd March, it will be 7 p.m. over YT, and 23rd will be 1 p.m. again over YT, YouTube. So this is the schedule for the next sessions. Thank you, Khushi. RC questions kitne honge minimum? So Nidhi, usually they comprise of 50% of your paper at least. That's what I have seen. So if there are 20 questions, I am expecting at least 10 to be from RC passages. Having said this, CMAT is an unpredictable exam. Remember this. Okay. So, for instance, as I told you, in slot 1 last year, there were 14 questions from RC passages, but in slot 2, there were just 5 questions. Then in CMAT 2020, there was just one passage with 5 questions. So, my point here is that I can't be sure about it, but yes, by going by a broad trend, this should be the case. Okay. All right. So keep attending the sessions, right? The last lap to CMAT is going on. We meet you daily at 7 p.m. So attend those sessions. I think all your queries about general awareness, innovation, and entrepreneurship, they'll be clarified there. Right? This is our CAT GDPI VAT program that is going on. I hope you're aware of it. And this is our ongoing batch in case any of your friends wish to enroll. Do follow us on Telegram if you want to ask any doubts later on, and you can follow us on Instagram, right? As I said that we have become hip and happening and we're now on Instagram. Thank you so much for attending the session. And yes, nobody has liked the video, is it? What is it that I'm seeing in the chat box? Please do press the like button. Okay, and you're free to leave any comments, anything that is not clear, anything that you would want me to add, because there are a number of other sessions coming up. All right. Welcome. Bye.